Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Damien. I'm from the customer service team, and I'm very happy to be able to give you a little tour of our application today. Today, main topic is sharing. How can I share apps with certain colleagues? How can I deny access, manage users, or embed my app in the website? I'm going to start off by giving you a brief introduction to OpenSApp with a few slides for those who are here for the first time. And then we're actually going to switch to the web portal where we're going to share a calculation app. As you think of questions, you can always post them at the bottom of the GoToWebinar panel in the questions section. We will send you the answers after the webinar. All right, so let's dive right in. OpenSAP is a cloud service and helps you and your business experts very quickly create and instantly share business apps without any programming knowledge. These apps can be created directly from your existing data. You can leave the Excel spreadsheet, for example, that you've been using for years, maybe on your server, in your SharePoint, wherever you keep your data. The service is in the cloud, but the data remains in your environment. What you have is a native app that runs on iOS, Android, and Windows within minutes. You're also able to run it in your browser. You can even embed the app in your website, and I'll show you how to do that later in the session today. Well, one of the biggest challenges today is mobility, and that's probably the reason why so many of you are listening right now. Everybody seems to be talking about mobile business, but the reality is that dedicated business apps are still very rare. Despite mobile devices, data is still distributed as a PDF or Excel file, and this is not a good workflow and is basically useless on mobile. The reason for that is that building apps today, as you all know, still is very expensive and also very time consuming. Often only developers or power users who know their way around development tools can actually do it themselves. And that's why you end up with an Excel file that is not very secure and creates a jungle of outdated data in many versions in your company. And this is where OpenSApp comes in. We think creating business apps should be as easy as creating a PDF file, and we actually have the solution for it. Most of you have probably already built an app, so I'm gonna give you a rough idea of how to do it. You basically build a user-friendly front end for your data using our app creator. So we operate our Excel and the logic from the file, like formulas, functions, etc., using the app we created. And we can do something that no one else can do. We are able to handle calculated data and even recalculations of it. So in short, you build your spreadsheet as always, and then you just specify the input fields and output fields to our app creator, which then does the rest. So in short, the specialists in your company who knows the processes and data exactly, they can convert the data into apps and distribute these apps to colleagues, customers, or partners. But so far, I've mainly talked about Excel as a data source for apps, but a very exciting part about OpenSApp is that the app generation can be integrated into existing systems and processes. That way, you can update your app and immediately receive the most current data directly from your SAP, Salesforce, SharePoint, or whatever system you are using. We are also able to write back in these systems. That's awesome, right? If you use SQL, then there is nothing easier than creating an app from it and roll it out to your team or clients. Join our dev expert Tobias for a deep dive into app creation based on SQL. Simply go to info.opensapp.net/webinars and sign up for his session on June the 27th. Okay, let's take a very quick look at the most basic concept of OpenSApp, as data security is a very important topic for all of you. The app consists of two things: the data source, for example, an Excel spreadsheet, and a XML file in which the layout of the app is stored. We call it app definitions. The app definitions does not contain any sensible data. It merely describes the user interface and contains references to segments of the spreadsheet. Basically, it provides the mobile device with instructions on how to visualize the data from and how to interact with the data source or the spreadsheet that may be stored on your server. OpenSApp then dynamically renders spreadsheet-based apps on the mobile device on demand when the user starts an app. So you do not have to store your data in our Microsoft Azure Europe Cloud. And to design the app layout, only the structure of your Excel is needed, so you can create the app with dummy data and change the data source later on. Okay, let's start with the topic of sharing. Some of you mentioned that you want to monetize the apps you created. What we have planned for the future is our own marketplace where users can sell their apps. This is how we will make commercial projects possible for non-developers using our OpenSApp container solution. We have already taken the first steps, and my colleagues are developing the profile page, what you can see here on the web portal. And this is where the premium apps will be offered later this year. Okay, but enough with the theory. Let's actually take a look at the different possibilities to share your app right now. Okay, what we see here is an app with which offers can be calculated, and afterwards a PDF with the inputs can be printed out. A classic offer calculator with which we control our Excel, so to speak. We now want to make this app available to our colleagues so that they can calculate an offer for the customer much better as they would do it with the Excel. So we open our app in the web portal here on the left and select here that we want to invite people. Let's click here. Our app is in private mode. This means that only selected people can use and see the app. We also have the ability to make the app available to everyone. So you can create an app for the next event and share it with the public. We do not charge any fees or licenses for this, and every visitor can use the app free of charge and without registration, which is great for apps like product presentations, catalogs, or maybe for your next event. Simply set the app to public. Okay, but first we want to use the app with our colleagues and with very specific people. We leave the app on private and type in the email address or the name of the person who is allowed to access the app. Let's say we want to invite David and Linda. They're already in my list because I have given them access to some other apps. This person will receive an email, can accept the invitation, and must authenticate himself with the email address. So if the person accepts the invitation, I see this, and I can also withdraw access to the app at any time. So the app will then be immediately removed from the device of the users, just like in a MDM system, you could say. So the person, in this case, David and Linda, they cannot see the Excel, evaluate formulas, or configure things in the app. They can only do what I have defined as the app creator. For example, perform calculations and then create a PDF. And since the data source is protected, you could also share the apps directly with the customer. He would not be able to see what daily rates we calculate with, or something like that. Let's say Linda leaves the company, or there's a reason for me to revoke access for her. I simply delete her from the list. We do not have to type in the people here individually. We can also copy and paste a column with email addresses from our Excel. Simply check out the small info box on our bulk invitations. Yeah, just copy a column, row, or collection of cells from your Google Sheet or Excel, paste them in there, so you don't have to bother with typing in each email address individually. Okay, now we have shared the app with David. He is able to use the app on the client, but now I want David to be allowed to edit the app, because he is actually the expert in the field and he originally built the Excel. In future, I want him to be entering new prices in the data source and thus keep the app up to date. So to do this, I simply changed the rights he has on the app. So instead of he can use the app, I click can edit the app. Now that he can edit the app, he sees not only he sees the app not only on the client, but when he logs into the web portal, the app appears with a pink frame. I show you that just right now. Like here, for example, the pink frame indicates that the app is in a different account. Here's the example. In this app, I can now change things or update the data source under manage data, update spreadsheet, etc. But I cannot invite other people to the app. This remains still the responsibility of the app owner. What we also can do is bring individuals together in groups and then share apps with specific groups. Simply let's switch to the users menu. So with an increasing number of apps and users of your apps, it becomes very easy to keep track of them if you work with groups. I'll show you how to do this now, and have already switched to the user management. Here I see some rough statistics, like on how many devices my apps were used. Under members, I see people I have made to my team members. They can be managed in groups, and we want to do that now. We have already created a few groups here. Here we know that the people have the same rights in our company and may also use the same apps. So we do not share our app with individuals from the sales team, but we share the app with the group, which can be selected in the field you see previously, where I typed in David and Linda's email address. So let's take a look at the group itself. So if a new employee is added, we simply add him to this group, and know that this gives him access to the apps that are intended for sales, rather than having to invite him or her individually to each app. Again, if I remove the user from the group, I deny him access to the resources that are shared with this group. So I do not have to check each app individually. I simply manage my users in groups. Save that. Okay. In the left menu, we see another item, ImportExport. Here we can play through some larger rollout scenarios in which many users are to be registered automatically and assigned directly to a specific group, which in turn has access to specific apps, etc. And as you can see, we also have concepts for larger rollout scenarios in which, for example, you want to register 2,000 employees and are looking for a smooth process. This may be something you are looking for, but what is more likely with this number of employees is to use your Active Directory. This is possible as well. If you have any questions to that, simply write us a mail. We get in touch with you. Okay, so we now switch back to our app and take a closer look at the public mode again. because in the next tab, after we use the app with Linda and David, we are very happy with it. We want to embed the calculator on our website and make it available to our customers. So we first change the status to public. It's again here, and then switch to public. And then in the tab social share, we see some shortcuts to the social networks or the QR code to the app. After clicking save, the app becomes public and can be accessed directly by everyone. You can even share the app outside of your company. And don't forget that making the app public doesn't mean that the people can see your Excel file. They just can see the app and use it just as you have specified. Here's the QR code. I'll use it now as a small transition to the advanced features and embedding an app in a website. So we have created a great app that we want to share with the world. Everyone should be able to calculate with my Excel without seeing the formulas. He probably won't even recognize that the logic was programmed in a simple Excel file. So we advertise our app on our website. This can be done using the QR code, or and if someone scans the code, the app opens on their smartphone, and since the app is public, the person doesn't have to register to see the app, and the person then has the app on her smartphone and can reopen it anytime she wants. So you're basically always in the pocket of your potential customer. An even cooler way is to embed the app itself directly into the website. And this looks like this, for example. What you see here is a small dashboard that we have embedded as an app in our website via the web client you can see here on the right. So the web client is almost as advanced as in functionality as the native client. So we could embed a small calculator here on the calculator page, then embed some input mask from our system, or a survey that works with a lot of logic on the left. So many application possibilities for the web client and for the embedded app. So if you to embed the app, you have to go to the advanced section and switch to the embed in website view. Here you'll find the QR code again, as well as the code snippet to embed the app into your website. So the only thing we have to do is to copy and paste this code, and we have a great calculator, list, survey, or any other app that works with a lot of logic right where we need it. You have here some additional options to customize the appearance on the app on your website, but basically it's just a two-step process. Copy the code, paste it on your website, and share it with anyone. In case your app is not in public mode and you embed it on your website, when the user enters your website, the client will be in, let's say, logged out mode. So the user would then have to log in with his credentials in the web client, and only then he will be able to see the app. So embedding a website is not only a feature for public apps. Okay, this was now a very quick overview of different scenarios for sharing your app. If you're looking for some additional features, feel free to leave us a message using the help button on our website. Thanks for your time and questions. You will receive answers to all questions from the webinar in a separate mail. Now, I wish you a lot of fun with app creation and, of course, with sharing. See you next time. And don't forget the webinar from Tobias on June the 27th if you're interested in SQL apps. Thanks. Bye.